Good morning. I'm Siti Snehara Talib. I will be presenting to you Module 1, Introduction to Curriculum Development. So first, we're going to discuss Lesson 1, Concept, Nature, and Purpose of Curriculum. So the concept of curriculum is a dynamic as the changes that occur in society. In its narrow sense, curriculum is viewed merely as a listing of subjects to be taught in school. In a broader sense, it refers to the total learning experiences of individuals not only in schools but in society as well. So, these are the fundamental questions that will be addressed in this lesson. So, what is curriculum? What is its purpose? And what is its nature? So, first, you have to know what is curriculum. So, curriculum is from the Latin word correre, which means to run a course. So, there are many definitions of curriculum. The concept of curriculum is sometimes characterized as fragmentary, elusive, and confusing. The definitions are influenced by modes of thoughts, pedagogies, political as well as cultural experiences. So, let us tackle curriculum from different points of view. So, there are 2 points of views that we're going to tackle: the traditional point of view and the progressive point of view. So, for the traditional point of view of curriculum, in the years of 20th century, the traditional concepts held of the curriculum is a body of subjects or subject matter prepared by the teachers for the students to learn. So, it was synonymous to the course of study and also to the syllabus. So, Robert Hutchins views curriculum as a permanent studies where the rule of grammar, reading, rhetoric, and logic, mathematics for basic education are emphasized. Also, basic education should emphasize the 3 R's, and college education should be grounded on liberal education. On the other hand, Arthur Bestor, he is an essentialist that believed that the mission of the school should be intellectual training. So, for him, curriculum should focus on the fundamental intellectual disciplines of grammar, literature, and writing. So, it should also include mathematics, science, history, and foreign language. So, this definition of Arthur Bestor leads us to the view of Joseph Schwab that discipline is the sole source of curriculum. Thus, in our education system, curriculum is divided into chunks of knowledge we call subjects or subject areas or learning areas. In basic education, such as English, mathematics, science, social studies, and others. So, in college naman, the discipline may include humanities, science, language, and many more. On the other hand, for the progressive point of view of curriculum, to a progressivist, a listing of school, subject, syllabi, course of study, and list of courses or specific discipline do not make a curriculum. So, curriculum can only be called if the written materials are actualized by the learner. So, broadly speaking, curriculum is defined as the total learning experiences of the or an individual. So this is anchored on John Dewey's definition of experience and education. He believed that reflective thinking is a means that unifies curricular elements, and thought is not derived from action but tested by application. So, Caswell and Campbell viewed curriculum as all experiences children have under a guidance of a teacher or a teachers. So, this definition of Caswell and Campbell is shared by Smith, Stanley, and Shores when they defined curriculum as a sequence of political experiences set up in the schools for the purpose of disciplining children and youth in group ways of thinking and acting. So, Marsh and Willis, on the other hand, view curriculum as all the experiences in the classroom which are planned and enacted by the teacher and also learned by the students. So, from the various definitions presented, so the points of view on curriculum development, it is clear that curriculum is a dynamic process, and the development connotes changes which are systemic. So, a change for the better means any alteration, modification, and improvement of existing condition. So, to produce positive changes, development should be purposeful, planned, and progressive. So, this is how curriculum evolves. So, Ralph Tyler, no, so has presented a model, and the four basic principles of his models are: number one, what educational purposes should the school seek to attain? The second one, what educational experiences can be provided that are likely to attain this purpose? The third one, how can these educational experiences be effectively organized? And for the last one, how can we determine whether these purposes are being attained or not? So, in summary, Tyler's model show that in curriculum development, the following consideration should be made. No? The purposes of the school, you have to consider the educational experiences related to the purposes. You have also to consider the organization of the experiences and also consider the evaluation of the experiences. So, on the other hand, in 1962, Helda Taba improved Tyler's rationale by making a linear model. As you can see in the uh, upper right portion, you have the Helda Taba model in 1962. So, she believed that teachers who teach or implement the curriculum should participate in developing it. So, uh, her advocacy was commonly called the grassroots approach. She presented seven major steps to her model, which are where teachers could have a major input. These steps are as follows. Number one, the diagnosis of learners' needs and expectations of the larger society. The number two, formulations of learning objectives. Number three, selection of learning content. Number four, organization of learning content. That is the key concepts or the main ideas or facts. Then number five, selection of learning experiences. Number six, organizing learning experiences. Then, number 7, determination of what to do, what to evaluate, and what the means of doing it. So, since held the taba, sabi niya, so every teacher na nagtuturo or nag-implement ng curriculum, kailangan mag-participate sa pag-develop nito. That is why, di ba, before, when you're a teacher, so before teaching on that day, you have to plan your lesson. So, we have our lesson plan. So, in the lesson plan, the steps of Helda Tabas model, nandun siya lahat. No? So, from the diagnosis of learner's needs, no? Nagpo-formulate ka ng objective, the cognitive, affective, and the psychomotor na objectives. So, selection of learning content. No? Malaya kang pumili ng learning content mo. Then, organization of learning content. Ikaw din na mag-organize ng pagkakasunod-sunod ng lesson mo. Then, selection of learning experiences. You are free to select your learning experiences. And organization of learning activities and also the evaluation. So, ikaw rin, malaya ka rin pumili ng ano yung i-evaluate mo at saka paano mo siya i-evaluate. You are free to choose any methods, no? If gusto mo multiple choice, pwede din. If gusto mo enumeration, pwede din siya. If gusto mo din na tawag dito, matching type, pwede din. Fill in the blank. So, or essay, pwede din. So, malaya kang pumili ng kung anong gusto mo na sa tingin mo ay maa-attain mo yung need ng learner mo. So, from the various concept given, so Alan Glathorn on 2000 describes 7 types of curriculum operating in schools. So, there is the recommended curriculum. The recommended curriculum is proposed by scholars and professional organizations. So, sa atin, sa DepEd, the recommended curriculum is the Kindergarten to Grade 12 Curriculum Guide. So, ngayon, in this time of pandemic, the recommended curriculum is the most essential learning competencies. No? Then, there is this written curriculum that appears in school, district, division, or county documents. The taught curriculum, what teachers implement or deliver in the classrooms and schools. So, ang taught curriculum is, hindi lahat ng competencies doon sa curriculum is minsan na-attain mo siya. So, sa taught curriculum, under lang dyan kung ano lang yung na-implement mo or na-deliver mo doon sa classroom mo or na-deliver ng school. So, every quarter, we are submitting a report regarding what are the competencies that are taught and what are the competencies that are not. Then, supported curriculum. The resources, textbook, computers, audiovisual materials, which support and help in the implementation of the curriculum. So, ngayong pandemic, ang supported curriculum is yung ginagamit na mga materials para sa audio and video with SLM na modality. Meron din sa RBI, meron din tayo sa television, yung DepEd TV, no? Meron din yan, yung supported curriculum. Yung sa mga libro, at saka yung mga self-learning modules. So, that is under the supported curriculum. Then, number 5, assessed curriculum, that which is tested and evaluated, no? So there are some of the competencies na hindi siya na-evaluate. More on so cognitive lang siya. Pero hindi siya as in nagamit na parang hanggang understanding lang siya na level. Pero partnered naman siya ng ibang competencies na kung saan sila yung nai-evaluate. Then, learn curriculum, what the students actually learn and what is measured. So, if yung mga bata may na-learn sila ng competencies, under siya doon sa learn curriculum. And the hidden curriculum. The hidden curriculum is the unintended curriculum. So, let us now look into the major foundations of curriculum. So, debate continue on what curriculum is and its basic foundations. So, the commonly accepted foundations includes philosophical, historical, psychological, and social. So, I am going to discuss that 4 foundations to you. Let us first start with the philosophical foundations of curriculum. So, philosophy provides educators, teachers, and curriculum makers with framework for planning, implementing, and evaluating curriculum in schools. It helps in answering what schools are for, what subjects are important, how students should learn, and what materials and methods should be used. So, in decision making, philosophy provides the starting point and will be used for the succeeding decision making. The philosophical foundations of curriculum can be shown in this figure. So, what is the school purposes? To answer that, you need to use the philosophy, the use of philosophy of learning, studies of contemporary life, suggestion from subject specialists, and studies of learners. So, for the second foundation, the historical foundations of curriculum, curriculum is not an old field, no? Actually, matagal na yan siya. Before pa tayo pinanganak, at saka yung mga lolo natin at saka lola, nandyan na si curriculum. So, majority of scholars would place its beginning in 1918 with the publication of Franklin Bobbitt's book, The Curriculum. Ayan. Then, the Philippine education came about from various foreign influences. Kasi, di ba, tayo ay sinakop ng iba't ibang bansa. So, the American educational system has the greatest influence on our educational system. So, let us view curriculum, let us know the curriculum theorists and how they view curriculum from a historical perspective. So, let us first start with Franklin Bobbitt in 1876 to 1956. So, he presented curriculum as a science that emphasizes on students' need. Then, ayon sa kanya, curriculum prepares students for adult life. So, also to Bobbitt, objectives with corresponding activities should be grouped and sequenced. No? Hindi sila pwede na kung ano lang maisipan mo. Okay, so this can only be done if instructional objectives are clarified. Yun yung kay Bloom, di ba? Which is along the way. Madi-discuss ko naman for the next lesson. And Weret charters. Weret charters view curriculum. To him, curriculum is a science. No? So, it gives emphasis on students' needs. So, para din sa kanya, the listing of objectives and matching these with corresponding activities ensures that the content or subject matter is related to objectives. Then, the subject matter and the activities are planned by the teacher. Then, pangatlo, si William Kilpatrick. So, William Kilpatrick said, curricula are purposeful activities which are child-centered. So, the purpose of curriculum is child development and growth. Also, he introduced the project method where teacher and student plan the activities. Yung pang-apat, si Harold Drug. Harold Drug viewed curriculum as curriculum should develop the whole child. So it is child-centered and should produce outcomes. And also, he also emphasized social studies and the teacher plans curriculum in advance. So, which is we are doing now. Gabi pa, gumagawa ka na ng lesson plan mo. So, bago pa, kaya nga sinabi lesson plan. Hindi katulad nung ngayon, minsan, kung kailangan lang ni principal, saka gagawin si lesson plan. Hindi rin tayo minsan gumagawa ng lesson plan natin kasi umaasa lang tayo sa kung ano lang yung na-download ni DepEd sa Facebook. Then, which is minsan reasonable din kasi we are using the same curriculum and the same budget of work. So, minsan pwede tayong gumamit nun. Though, may mga supervisors na dinidiscourage nila yung ganong ugali kasi daw, hindi naman daw pare-parehas yung needs nung bawat munisipyo, bawat school, bawat barangay, at bawat bata. So, siguro, dahil minsan sa dami ng ginagawa ni teacher, hindi na niya kaya si lesson plan gawin. Kasi, imagine yung lesson plan mo, isang araw, 9. If you're teaching 1:1, then meron kang 8 or 9 subjects. Kasi meron ding alive. So, kung tapos, gagawin mo yung lesson plan mo Sunday. So, that is the time for your family actually. So, minsan, mas pinipili natin na i-download na lang siya. Then, next is Hollis Caswell. Hollis Caswell, he sees curriculum as organized around social functions of teams, organized knowledge, and learners' interest. So, he believes that curriculum is a set of experiences, and subject matter is developed around social functions and learners' interest. So, next one is Ralph Tyler. Yung kanina, yung merong model. So, he believes that curriculum is a science and an extension of school's philosophy. So, it is based on students' needs and interests. To him, curriculum is always related to instruction. And subject matter is organized in terms of knowledge, skills, and values. The process emphasizes problem solving, and also the curriculum aims to educate generalists and not specialists. Okay. Or the psychological foundations of curriculum. Ito yung pangatlo. Yung spelling pa. Psychology provides a basis for the teaching and learning process. So, we have 3 types of psychology that is connected to the curriculum. The first one is the behaviorist psychology. So, there are 5 types of behaviorist psychology. Number 1 is the connectionisms. That is where Edward Thorndike is under. Edward Thorndike influenced Tyler and Taba, the well-known curricularist, no? So kanina na mention ko si Tyler, tapos dun sa model ni Tyler ni enhance siya ni Taba, ni Helda Taba. Then the second one is the classical conditioning. Under Jansi Ivan Pavlov. Then the operant conditioning, which is B.F. Skinner, is under the fourth one, the modeling and observation theory of Bandura. And the last one, the hierarchical learning of Robert Gagg. So, to the behaviorist, so all of them, learning should be organized in order that students can experience success in the process of mastering the subject matter. The second type of psychology is the cognitive psychology. Under the cognitive psychology, there are 5 types that is mostly connected to the curriculum. The cognitive development stages of John Piaget, the social constructivism of Lev Vygotsky, the multiple intelligences of Howard Gardner, the learning styles of Felder and Silverman, and the emotional intelligence of Daniel Goleman. So, to the cognitive theorists, learning constitutes a logical method for organizing and interpreting learning. Also, it is rooted in the tradition of subject matter and is similar to the cognitive development theory. The third type of psychology is the humanistic psychology. Under that is the 3 types. The Gestalt theory that Gestalt theory is a school of psychology that is based in Europe. Their focus is the idea of grouping. So, Theory of Human Needs and for Self-Actualizing Person by Abraham Maslow, and also the Non-Directive Lives of Carl Roger. So, human psychologists are concerned with how learners can develop their human potential. And for the last foundations of curriculum, the social foundations. So, for the social foundation, school exists within the social context. So, in considering the social foundations of curriculum, we must recognize that schools are the only one of the many institutions that educate society. No? So, kahit sinasabi mo na pwede naman ako maka-learn dun sa experience ko, hindi rin. Kasi kahit ang tali-talino mo, hindi pa rin siya ma-recognize kung hindi ka doon nag-aral doon sa recognized na institution kung saan sila yung nagtuturo sa society. So, the home, the family, and community likewise educate the people in the society. Though meron naman tayong din mga schools, no? So, not everything can be learned in schools, no? So, pag galing mo pa lang sa bahay, dun mo na natututunan yung ibang mga learnings, no? So, yung paano ka magmahal sa iyong pamilya, yung respeto, no? So, good moral and right conduct starts at home, no? So, in your family and the community. So, sa community, kung nakikita mo naman sa community mo, malinis sila, meron silang mga policies, no? So, dun pa lang, matututunan mo na sumunod sa mga batas, which is also being taught in school. So, though the home, the family, and community educate the people in the society, but schools, again, are formal institutions that address more complex and interrelated societies and the world. Okay, so thank you for listening.